So cool. So go ahead and fill me in on Magglio, and we'll go from there.
Cool. So everything with Magglio is going awesome. It's really going well. The only issue that two things really. I mean, it's not really an issue, but currently he wears just like a straight collar, just like the band around his neck. And we noticed recently that he's been like kind of coughing or he'll either he just sits down on our walk and we have to kind of tug at him a little bit, and sometimes he'll start really coughing, or like if he gets really excited by another dog and he starts pulling, he'll start coughing a lot. So I want to like help him with that. Also, I've never let him off the leash ever. I want to be able to let him off the leash at least in a fenced backyard. We have a big fenced backyard in the suburbs, and he could easily go under the fence. I mean, it would be hard. It would be hard, but he could do it, I'm sure, because he's pretty small. Our other dog is like 80 pounds, so he can't get under the fence, so we never really worried about it before. But I don't know. We don't have a good way to call him to make sure that he'll come back. And so I just want to basically know that we're not going to lose him. And so, yeah, it's basically those two things.
Okay. Magglio has been great here. He plays well. He's quiet in the crate. He's good overnight.
Yeah, he's really good in the crate.
Yeah, he's really. We all like Magglio. He's also got like really good like prey drive. Like it's very fun to like. I remember when he was a puppy. It was very fun to like play with him one-on-one with like the tug toys and everything, because he was always into the game, really into it. But I can definitely see him squeezing out of a gate and just taking off, just having like zooming around and everything like that.
Yeah.
So cool. So yeah, it just sounds like, to avoid having a collapsed trachea, you would want a more controlled walk and just stopping him from going to dogs, and then having that off leash, or having a relaxed, being relaxed about him being off leash and not having to worry that, oh, where's he going to go, because you'll have some sort of control without a leash, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. So what do you, because obviously that we work with e-collars and prong collars.
I'm not sure what an e-collar is. We have 4 dogs, and we do have a prong for 2 of them, but we just haven't found. I mean, Magglio's so little that we didn't think that we really needed a prong, but we're not against a prong at all.
Yeah. So prong, probably from Magglio, you have to get like either like the super small one, or like the 2.25 millimeter. I think would be good for him, just so that there's consequence for him pulling. Sometimes like cons with prong collars is that the dog is so pulls so much and is so driven or so disengaged, or like they see a dog, they want to get to the dog so bad that the prong collar sometimes won't even work for some dogs. So then that'll just make like the pulling still continue, and like it'll be like, because owners will say, yeah, we tried a prong collar, like it helps a little bit, but the dog still pulls, and like stuff like that. But so the e-collar, have you ever been to a physical therapist?
Yes.
So have you ever had I believe they call it a TENS unit on like your like a muscle, like they massage a muscle for you, like it's like a muscle contractor?
Yes.
That same technology is what's on the e-collars. So It's just a muscle contractor. Jesse likes to put it as electric, but not electricity. So it's nothing like flowing through the dog's body. It's just like a tens unit where they got commercials too on Walgreens. Like you put on your abs and like get a six pack, whatever, and like it works out your muscles and everything like that. Can it get uncomfortable? Yes, but it's the way physical therapists use it, I believe, is that they increase the number and then they tell the client, let us know when it's uncomfortable, and the client will let them know, and then like they lower it, either they keep it at the same number or they lower it even more for the client. So that routine that is the same way we do for the dogs, right? So we will go up until the dog is like, okay, that's enough, or like we see a certain behavior, like, okay, this is the right number for Magglio or whoever we're, whatever breed dog we're working with. So it's physicality, it's a physical it's a physical feeling. I mean, a feeling is physical. So, but like in other words, like dogs are physical animals. So with the prong collar, it's supposed to mimic a dog mouth, like a dog bite, right? So like when they pull, it tightens up, or if like you give a leash pop, it tightens up really quick, and it provides a quick moment of uncomfortable consequence, right?
Right.
For
And
doing
then they stop. Yeah.
exactly. It's then to stop. So the reason why prong collars can be very effective is because it's physical. So dogs are physical animals. You know, if Magglio was done playing and like this younger puppy wanted to keep playing, Magglio would probably let that puppy know. And how do you think Magglio would let that puppy know that he's done playing?
He'd probably lay down or sit down.
Okay, let's say he sits down or lays down and the puppy keeps trying to like bug Magglio. What do you think he'll do then?
I don't think anything. But I mean, I really don't think that he would do anything. He's such a sweet dog, but I mean, I have seen, or with our other dogs, they have attacked the other dog.
Yeah. So when a dog is done, or maybe they don't like a behavior that another dog is doing, like mounting or like anything like that, or like barking at them, or they're too high energy in their presence, they'll bite. So they deal everything with their mouths. They don't, like if a dog's mounting, let's say Madley decides to mount your other dogs, if they're bigger, I don't know how he would reach them, but let's say he was, and then this other dog wouldn't say, "Hey, Maglio, could you not do that?" Like dogs don't communicate that way. It's you're gonna do this, you're gonna get this for doing that. It's just consequence
Right.
for your actions, right? So e-collar is physical, so that's why we get so much success, and why we actually have a lot of little dogs right now on daycare and train. It's like I don't know if you've seen him on the story, but like we had a puppy head start. Ziggy, he's a little guy. He's on the e-collar. Zuma is on the e-collar. We have another little guy named Tank. Yeah, we have a lot of little dogs right now. So they're doing great. They get it right away. It's like I said, it's physical. It's their language, and they're able to understand it quickly because they know, okay, if I do this, I get this, so I just won't do that. And then you'll start to see them like kind of like lock in or like understand it very quickly.
Uh-huh.
Any questions so far about e-collar?
So, like, I mean, I guess I don't know when you use an e-collar. Like, does he have a regular collar and an e-collar? And when you go for a walk, or like, is there like a button that you buzz? Like, I don't really know how it works.
Okay, so an e-collar is, we use the brand's called Dogtra, right? So it comes with like the collar and like a little box on it with two contact points that are supposed to be touching the dog's neck. And it also comes with a remote. We have a few functions on the remote. There's only one button we really use the most. It's called the nick, or like the quicker button. And there's another one where it's like you hold it down and it continues, but then you have another one, if you hold it down, it just sends one moment of stimulation. So that's the one we use. Our brand has 0 to 127 levels on the e-collar. So there's other brands out there, and these other brands sometimes go up to 10. So think of their 10 equal to our 127, right? Same power, just different numbers. But for our
Okay.
collars, we have
Yeah, yeah.
117 more breaks to be more specific to the dog, to, the situation, anything we're dealing with, right? We can be more specific because the issue there is
Right.
like if you're on a 5 on the other brand and it madly yelping, then you go to 4 and then he's not listening. So then you're stuck there, right? For us, we can just go in between. If 40 is making him yelp and 30 is not listening, then we go to 35, right? The brand we use also like feels more smoother and more just smoother, and we don't get the crazy reactions that these cheap e-collar brands kind of do to dogs. So wearing the e-collar, so since we're seeing him pull a lot and that's having your issues, the e-collar would be on walks all the time, because on these walks, we can't really predict what's going to happen on these walks, right? So let's say we're walking with Magglio, and this is like, say, after training and after, a year or something, you'd still want it on because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk. So let's say we're walking on a busy street and a car crash happens. Magglio gets spooked and maybe goes into flight mode. And let's say he's on a flat collar and like slips out the flat collar, and then he just takes off. When dogs are in flight mode, they're thinking kill or be killed. They're getting away. They're trying to get away, and they can't think clear. They're just running. So there, it's like, how are you going to connect to Magglio to come back to you? Or like if a firework goes off, or like if an off-leash dog approaches Magglio and Magglio runs away and you can't get him, or you have him off leash and then a firework goes off and he takes off, how are you going to get back to him, right? So the e-collar would be on during your walks, but you said he's fine in the home, so then you don't need the e-collar on. On your walks, it would be the e-collar and flat collar on, your leash connecting to the flat buckle collar or whatever collar you're using.
Okay.
And does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Um, uh, Other than that, that's how e-collar, the summary of it. It's waterproof. He can go swimming with it. It's rechargeable, so there's no batteries. It's just you plug him in the wall, and the battery lasts a very long time. Now, I know I said that the e-collar will be on all the time on the walks, but that doesn't mean you're going to be pressing the button all the time. So
Right.
so right now, like my dog, Jesse's dog, maybe I think Andy's dog, if we're taking him for a walk now, they're already done training, Jesse like will tell his clients, like, I only press the button like once a month, maybe at the most, like twice. So it's not like you're going to be always zapping him or anything like that throughout his whole life. It's just that it's going to be there for emergencies because you've already done all the hard work prior to that. Does that
Uh-huh.
make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Any other questions?
Not currently.
Okay, so
Yeah, no, not about that.
okay. So another question that our owners have about e-collar is that how come when I take the e-collar off, why does Magglio go back to pulling? So Jesse likes to use examples for the human version of it is like, you're driving right now. Do you drive on the highway?
Yeah.
You go the speed limit?
Oh yeah.
Or what happens? Let's say one day you're not going to speed limit, or like, people speed and everything. What happens when like a squad car, is parked at the, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, you slow down.
Exactly. So it's called opportunistic behavior. It has nothing to do with the training, e-collar, you guys practicing. It's just a nature thing. If we can get away with something, then we'll get away with it. So it's, Jesse likes to call the e-collar a cop on a collar. So like once that cop is there, he's going to behave. It's, like I said, it has nothing to do with the training. It's just that, like I said, if he can get away with something and he knows that he can get away with it, if the collar's not on, he recognizes that, okay, when the collar's on, I have to behave. If the collar's off, I can do whatever I want. Once he realizes that, then it's just going to be like that. It's hard to fix. But like I said, it has nothing to do with the training or anything like that. It's just nature. That's how nature works, those scenarios. But that's mostly how e-collar works. We don't zap the dog. Like we don't make him pull and then like, oh, let's just max it out and just give him the harshest consequence. There's a way to kind of teach them, because we need to teach Magglio how to turn on and how he turns off the e-collar, because he's going to be the one controlling when it goes on.
Right.
Once he realizes that he can control it, he's going to get it. He's going to get the hang of it. Magglio is a pretty stable dog. I've never had any issues with him, so I assume that it'd be very flowy, very smooth with him, especially since he has a foundation with some of the trainings with like the obedience commands with us. So like Ziggy was a PHS puppy, and we did all his training sessions today, and it was very smooth, no conflict, nothing really going on there, right? Because we've worked with him before, we've given him our version of puppy head start positive training, and it's good for the puppy head starts. When they do e-collar, they do very good.
Okay. Yeah, Magglio did do the puppy head start.
Oh, he did the puppy board and train.
I think he did puppy head start too.
Oh, well, yeah, the puppy board and train, the puppy head start they're the same thing. It's just like one's daycare, one boarding.
Yeah, he did both.
Yeah. Any questions?
Not yet.
Okay. So e-collar also, because no one likes being disciplined, right? E-collar is a stressor. So once we start working with Magglio, we might see his stress response. So his stress response could be, maybe he starts getting a little flighty or a little anxious, or, you might see heavy panting because it's stress, right? No one likes being disciplined. So a lot of clients will say like, well, the e-collar made my dog anxious, which is incorrect, because your dog was already anxious. We're just seeing his stress response to the e-collar. So once you get over that hump of anxiety or stress, or his stress response, it's just like once you have to get over that hump. So like the more exposure, the more you work with him, the more we work with him, the faster he'll get over that hump, right? If you see this, and like sometimes clients get like, if they don't want to work with the dog because they're like, I don't want to do it because, I don't like the way Magglio maybe shakes in the beginning, right? That shaking will go away, but if you never work him through it, he's always going to be like that in stressful situations, right? Because you're also teaching how to handle stress, right? So it's also a confidence booster in that aspect of the e-collar training. What else? Any questions about that?
No.
You're just looking for, the heel and recall. Were you just wanted to just hear what e-collar was and then think about it, or were you thinking of choosing a program for him, or?
Yeah, I mean, we want to keep going with training. I think that he is honestly pretty well trained, and every time we try to train him on something at home, he understands. So we definitely want to be able to keep going, mostly so I feel like he can enjoy more and we can enjoy more. So I mean, I'll talk to my husband about it. I'm sure he'd be fine with it. But I think that we wanted to have this consult to talk about, what would be a good next step, because he has done the puppy head start, and, we like sending him for daycare, but at daycare, he doesn't do a lot of new stuff. He just maybe works on some old stuff. So we want to kind of keep progressing with him.
Yeah, definitely e-collar is the next step, since positive only has such a low ceiling. If he's pulling, there's no way, or if he's off leash, there's no way that food will get him to come back, because it's, if he's in a situation where he's like, there's a dog over there, mom has a treat. There's a dog over there, mom has a treat. I'm going to go for the dog because I can get the treat later, right? So he's going to choose a dog every single time, maybe. Or if he sees a door open, he's going to go out that door, or the gate in the backyard. He's going to want to venture out, So e-collar, is the wire is you, basically having a wireless leash on him. He's never going to know that you're the one pressing the button on the remote. He's going to think it's like the universe telling him what to do. So it won't like affect, it won't affect like your relationship with Magglio. He's not going to look at you as like, I was scared of you or anything like that, because he doesn't know it's you. E-Call is very unconfrontational. There's no confrontation. There's no argument. It's just you're feeling this, and Magglio has a problem to solve. Versus prong collar, Magglio will know you're using a prong collar because, one, he sees the leash attached to you, right? So he's going to know it's you. So then there's no argument there of like, okay, I don't want to do it. And then you do something with the prong. He's like, okay. And then like there's an argument or something like that right there, if that makes sense. But then the e-collar, there's no conflict. It's just, he doesn't know who's doing it. It's just like, it's just happening, right? So that's why they all learn very quickly. If you're trying to see how, like more in depth on how it works, we have a lot of videos on YouTube of dogs being trained on e-collar, like, just seeing how it works. And Maddie's got a lot of videos on Instagram about talking about e-collar, how it feels. And, I don't think she puts it on her neck. Maybe that was a prong collar she put on her neck. I can't remember. But
yeah, she put the prong on her neck. We saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to address the pulling and having recall, in our opinion, e-collar is the only tool that can do that, because recall is not recall if it's not off-leash reliable, right? And for us, e-collar is the only thing that can get us 90 to 100%, right? So if just use the example, like if let's say someone's going to work on your house, like plumbing, I can fix it if I do it this way, but it's like 50, 60% chance. But if I do it this way, I get it 100 or 90% chance. We're always going to opt for like the 90 or 100% chance, because why would we waste, all this time doing this one when we know it's probably not going to work, or it's going to take a longer time, versus having this quick, fix and, get it done right and, safe. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah. So we have a lot of programs. We have like the daycare and train, which a lot of owners are still happy with doing that. They get the good results as like they would in person or board and train, or programs like that. Any questions about e-collar training, or did you want to talk about what the programs would look like for Magglio, or anything else? Or
I mean, what would the programs look like, and sort of what role do we play in that? Because obviously we don't really know how it works. So
yeah, so board and train, very similar to how Magglio did his last board and train, his first one, where we work with him, we make videos introducing the e-collar for like his first week. Once those videos are uploaded, you watch them, you get you study them, and you get knowledge about the e-collar and like the obedience we're working with Magglio. And then you schedule your follow-up, and we transfer everything to you. We have a lesson at Oz Park where it's like tons of distractions, and we get to transfer everything to you. And then he's just staying here like his first board and train. The daycare and train, similar to puppy head start program, where you just bring him for a day of daycare, and then we train him. We videotape everything as well, all the first and explanatory sessions with him. And then for the daycare train, you're actually able to practice sooner. So let's say you do like the 10-day bundle of daycare and train. His first 5 days, he'll have his, I think like the first 3 days, a video will be uploaded of his first sessions. Once you see those first sessions, you're free to go practice with Magglio in the real world. And then you can schedule your follow-up anytime you like, in the middle of the program, after the program, just whenever. And let's say you do in the middle, like we can, you can show us what you're practicing, make sure you're doing everything correctly. Then you can do another 5 days and then another follow-up. You can mix it up like that. And then the in-person is one-on-one verbal coaching. We don't touch Magglio. You're doing everything from scratch, and you're doing all the troubleshooting. You're seeing how Magglio is doing it. You're you're working him through it like yourself, so you're more knowledgeable about the tool, because you, like I said, you're doing everything yourselves, right? And
Right.
then at Oz Park as well, we're operating at Oz Park, or the facility, for like the in-person trainings and follow-ups. Um, Pros and cons is, pros and cons for in-person. You learn everything from scratch, like I said. Cons, it takes longer because we do one session for an hour a week, and we're only giving you one topic to kind of go for. Since you're just using, or since you're just wanting the walking command and recall, we probably just give you like the three week program, one class on heel, just to give you the tools and knowledge that you need for the heel, and the next two classes would be right. But then let's say Magglio has like, maybe he takes the e-collar like a weird way, right? We only have 3 classes then, versus the next bundle would be 6 in person. So then it gives us more wiggle room to work around with Magglio, right? But I don't suspect, issues. But so that's like in person. Cons, takes longer. Pros, you're doing it everything yourselves.
Right.
Daycare and train and board and train, the training is tied to us, but e-collar is very transferable. So like if we're doing an in-person session, and like you and is it your husband or your partner, or
Yeah, my husband.
and then what's his name again?
Mike.
Mike. Let's say Mike does all the hard work, right? He goes first. Then once he hands it off to you, it's like nothing. Because Mike did all the hard work, he just passed through the remote. So when Mike pressed the button on 30 and you press the button on 30, it's the same thing. There's no like, well, Mike's stronger than me, so he's able to control Magglio more than I can. There's nothing like that. So the follow-ups for board and train and daycare and train very much are easy, because like I said, or yeah, like the example I gave, like, it's very transferable. So there's options for you. It's just depending on like, what works for you, and like schedule wise, and stuff like that. So like if you want to go out of town for like, a week or two, there's like an opportunity to do the board and train, or if you wanted to do the daycare and train, or in person, it would work well with Magglio. Anything you do, really.
Okay. So I'm going to talk to my husband, Mike, about it. I think that we'll do daycare and train. Both of us have extremely busy jobs. The reason that I'm talking to you right now is because I'm still driving home from work. Yeah. So we don't have a ton of time. We both work Monday through Saturday. So I have a feeling we'll do daycare and train, because we love having Magglio at home if we're home. Yeah. So and I mean, in person sounds great. I just don't think that we have that kind of time right now.
Yeah.
Which is why we have you guys.
Of course, yes.
So I can book that. I can go ahead and I can purchase that online, correct?
Yeah, so you're probably more like the because I mean, it's the let me see here. Let me pull it up real quick. Because we have different bundles for the daycare and trains, and there's like specific reasons why. Okay. Like one program would be longer than the other one, or the shorter, or whatever. So we have the 5-day, 10-day, 15, 20. So
can we start with the 5, and then we'll just see how it's going, and we can add another 5 if we want that, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, that works. So the 5-day is $825. So if you buy another 5-day, it'll be the same price. Like you wouldn't get, it'd just be the same thing. Right. But yeah, that works as well. Yeah.
What would you recommend? Would you recommend the 5 or?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do the 5, see how it goes. And if like, we're like, or, you can practice, and you're like, yeah, if what we see is like, if Magglio's doing great, then it's like, yeah, 5-day was enough for Magglio, because you're not wanting that much, right?
Right.
Because for this 5-day, or for the daycare and trains, we teach heel, stay, sit, down, place, and recall, all with e-collar, right? Um, um, so I think the 5-day would be great, or 5 or 10 would be good. And then they don't need to be back to back, so it doesn't need to be like one day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Right. We could do it weekly if we wanted.
Yes, so you can do like
Okay.
every Monday or whatever you would like to do about that. Kimberly, the new kennel manager.
Yes,
handles
I
the
have talked to her.
Yeah, she handles like the scheduling for the daycare and trains and board and trains and like the booking stuff. So she'd tell you like what days would be available or like work out, because we have other daycare and trains that have chosen specific days, so that we don't get 3 daycare and trains in one day and we can't get to one of them, or something happens like that. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
But
yeah, totally.
if she gives you like every Tuesday, and let's say one Tuesday you can't make it, you still have that day, like puppy head start program. Like you still have that day, like the bundles and everything we have here. You still have that day. No one can take it away from you.
Mhm.
With the 5-day bundle, it also comes with 2 hours of follow up, and with a 1 hour long one video.
Okay.
So those follow ups can be scheduled whenever it's most convenient for you, because you're busy.
Right, just like Puppy Head Start. I actually about to walk in some Magglios right here. Hello, Magglio.
Oh. Any questions about the program or anything like that?
I don't think so. So I actually have 2 questions. So my first question is that I know that we this current session goes towards another session. So that goes towards like the other, like one of the days that we have.
Oh, are you saying you have Puppy Head Start program days right now?
No, like our current phone call right now, which we paid for, goes towards a session.
Oh yeah. So let's say you go to the, because we have you can either pay in full or you can do like the payment plan. So 5 days, 8 to 25. It'd be, let's say you're gonna pay in full. It'd be 8 to 25 minus 135.
Minus this 135. Perfect.
Yes.
And then do you help us purchase the e-collar? Like, I don't know where to buy that or anything like that.
Yeah, so we can do 2 things. We can send you so after this consultation, I'll send you a follow-up email with like the program pricings and everything like that, and everything we talked about. The e-car, I think that would be best for Magglio, with the link to the Amazon website. And then we also sell e-collars here as well. So I would have to check to see if there's some available for Magglio. If you want to purchase from us, they're the same price. There's no difference. It's just personal preference, if however you want to go about it. And then I'll also send you, do you have daycare days left, or do you have any puppy head start days left?
I need to check. I actually think we might have used them, but I need to verify.
Okay. But yeah, I'll send a follow-up email with those details, and then like it's your choice if you want to go about it, the purchasing of the e-card. But yeah, it looks like you finished a 5. You finished a 5 something. It might have been a puppy head start.
Yeah, that was Puppy Head Start. He's actually staying overnight next weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Could we start then?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You can. So what can happen there is, let's say you buy the bundle before next weekend, right? Because you're already a step ahead. You already signed the agreements with the Ginger stuff, and you're already in the system, and you have, we have his shots and everything. So then Thursday, we could get him started. That would be his first day, and then, or how would that work? Because So you
'Cause
said,
he's really doing a boarding.
yeah, exactly. So you're doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you said?
He's staying overnight Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay, and then he's leaving Sunday.
He's leaving Sunday, yes.
And then do you know if that's going to be before or after 3? Probably too soon.
I would imagine after 3.
Okay, so instead of charging you for an extra day of daycare, we can use that as a daycare and train. So it'd just be flipped, right? So that you wouldn't have to worry. If you were to pick him up after 3, it'd be fine because we already used a daycare and train. Does that make sense?
Yes. Because that counts as the whole day.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, that can, if everything gets set up before then Thursday, because I'm not here Saturday, or I'm not here. I'm not here Saturday or Friday. Thursday's my last
Okay,
day.
so you could do Thursday and Sunday.
Sunday I'm here, but I'm like here for a brief moment, to the point where like I'll come to the facility, help open, and then do whatever I need to do until because my Sunday is my sessions. So Sunday I have all my in-person sessions on that day, since it's
Okay.
much slower, and I can leave the facility and do all that outside of the facility.
Okay, got it.
So in the morning, if he's, that can also be, I think, because Thursday it'd be better because I'm here all day. So like if Sunday comes around, I would be like rushed, or like I wouldn't get all the videos done versus having it done on Thursday. I can do that.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Trying to think if I missed anything. But yeah, I think that's all. Take your time with it. There's no rush. There's nothing, it's just like up to you guys, just helping you out, or, you were wanting to find out more about eClass. So go ahead and ponder about it, and then I'll send you a follow-up email either tomorrow or the following day of what we talked about and what the programs look like, and pricings, and e-color stuff like that.
Perfect.
Yep.
That would be great. And then I have a feeling we'll do it, and hopefully we can start next week over his boarding.
Cool. Awesome. Excited. Anything else?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Of course. It's cool. So again, keep an eye for that follow-up email. If there's nothing else, it was very nice speaking to you. And if anything comes up, or any other questions that you and Mike, correct?
Yeah, his name's Mike. Yeah.
You and Mike might, think about as you're talking about it, feel free to send me an email, enrique@canadianperspective.com, and I'll answer your questions.
Great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.